Well, welcome to the Hope Community Church vlog. Today I have a very special guest, my friend Karen. Karen, say hi.
Hello.
Karen is a friend of mine. We've known each other for a number of years now. Do you want to introduce yourself, Karen? What do you do? Where are you from? All that stuff.
So my name's Karen. I'm originally from Gloucester. I moved up to Leicester to go to uni, and then I stayed. I work as a physio in the NHS. So I work in the Leicester Children's Hospital. And for fun, I love playing hockey and live with my husband Mike, and we have a dog and a cat.
Very nice. And if the dog and cat try to invade the interview, then we'll just let that happen.
Yeah.
So you've agreed to just share a bit of your story, particularly about your journey in faith and that kind of stuff. So why don't you start at the beginning? What was your kind of background? How did you grow up? Was faith part of your life growing up?
Yeah, so I guess everyone thinks their upbringing is normal one. So, I lived with my parents and my older brother, and for me, it was a really happy childhood. We had a great time. God and faith wasn't really part of that. I think I went to like a C of E school, so kind of, I guess, thought there might be a dude in the sky, and that everyone went to heaven when they died, and that bad people went to hell, and that was kind of it. I kind of learnt Bible stories through RE and things like that, but it wasn't really part of our daily life growing up. We kind of went to church as and when, Easter, Christmas, that sort of thing. But yeah, so for me, growing up was great. I loved it. And faith just kind of was a thing either you did on Sundays or at Christmas. But I got sent to a Christian camp. So it was a summer camp in the summer. So it was run by a church, run by a group of Christians. And I guess that's where things started to change for me.
So how was that for you, going to this Christian camp when you didn't really have much to do with church? How was that?
Yeah, well, to me, it was just great. It was really good fun, activities, summer, sun, friends. I loved all of that side of things. And I kind of put up with the what I thought was like an RE lesson each day. But I went along like that for years. I went to this camp from when I was 8 to when I was 18, and just the first 10 years of it was kind of not really thinking about the faith aspect of anything. And I remember chatting to a leader once about relationships, and she'd said something along the lines of, oh, well, as Christians, we keep sex for marriage. And that just blew my mind. That's something that people in the olden days believed. Surely no one in their 30s or 20s believes that. That's ridiculous. So it just got me thinking. I was like, well, if they believe that, what else do they believe? Because that for me wasn't part of Christianity as I saw it. So I just started to listen. What are these people saying about God, the Bible, Jesus? Who is this person that I clearly don't know very well? And I just started to listen to what they were talking about, asking questions. So why do you believe that? Why is that so special to Christianity? And I just was really interested in it. I just thought these people were the most weird, wacky people ever. And I couldn't believe that someone would live their life so differently based on a dude in the sky. But yeah, as I listened, things started to make sense for me. So they talked about evidence for Jesus, that he was a real man who actually existed, and that there was evidence around to back that up. And I didn't realise that. I just thought it was kind of a made-up character. But actually to believe that Jesus is a real person, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty amazing. They talked about the Bible like it had relevance to today. It wasn't just a dusty old book you used as a doorstop. And they kind of helped me to open that up and read it and have a look at it, see what the eyewitnesses of Jesus' life said about Jesus. And slowly things, I just started to understand and actually believe that Jesus was a real person. He came to die for us, so that we could have a relationship with him, and that was life-changing for me.
So it almost feels like you'd kind of written Christianity off without ever really looking into it for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's things that for me, it was a fairy story that you were brought up with, like the Easter Bunny, and that when you grow up, you grow out of it. So to find people that actually still believed it, and that it wasn't a story to them, it was real life, and it impacted the whole of their life. That was huge. And that change happened for me as well. So.
That's really cool. And so you had this journey of just looking at it more. Now you're kind of a member of a local church, and you call yourself a Christian. How do you go from just curious about Christianity and faith to where you are now?
Yeah, so I guess it's having a look at what Christianity is really about. Have a look at it as an adult, as someone who actually thinks and reasons through something. And then for me, that it was the penny dropping on realizing two things really, and the big Bible words I didn't get at the time, but understanding forgiveness and what that means. So Jesus came to take away any barrier between us and God, and that only he was able to do that, and that he did it successfully. So I think I was very good at putting up barriers. Well, God wouldn't love me because of this, and well, I'm not good enough to be a Christian. And understanding that God, like the whole point of why he sent Jesus was to forgive you, to take that away so that he could be with you. You could be with God in a relationship and call yourself a Christian. That was massive. And understanding that just made me go, wow, I want to say thank you with the rest of my life for that forgiveness. And that's the point that changed me. That was the point where I said, wow, God, okay, fine. If you did that for me, I want to live my life for you. And I want to change how I live. I want to change who I am. I want to be a Christian. I want to live my life for God. So I guess that's the understanding of what forgiveness actually means. It's more than just saying sorry to a dude in the sky, but it was a process that a man had to come to this earth in order to break down that barrier.
And that kind of shapes the rest of your life. You know, if you've been forgiven and now have a relationship with God, that's going to affect your life just like any other important relationship in your life.
Exactly.
And so what difference does it make to you now? As you sit here, 2020, in lockdown, going into children's hospital, what difference does it make to you being a Christian?
It makes a massive difference to my life. To the point where people who know me now can't believe what I was like before. So I think before I was a Christian, I was quite angry at the world. I get angry at injustice. And I guess quite anxious and uncertain about things. And if it wasn't the best, it wasn't good enough because I was letting myself down. Things like that. Normal ways of thinking. And I still have those times, and life is still like that, but it's very different now. So I'm less angry with the world because I understand that God hasn't intended it to be this way, and he wants change. He wants this world to be different. So I don't have to be really angry when I know that the person who made this world is angry for me. And I don't have to be so cross at injustice when I know that God will ultimately have his justice, and that he can deliver that, so it won't go unjustified, I guess. It means that I have a lot more peace, so I know where I'm going. I have a purpose to my life now. I have hope for the future, so when I'm sat in lockdown, it's not the end of the world, because actually I know that there'll be a time away from this. And it changes how I live because I have God with me. And I know that's a really weird saying, but when you have God as part of your life, you have something within you that we call that the Holy Spirit, who helps you in your day-to-day life. So it kind of, when I'm unsure of something, I can pray and ask the God of the universe to help me with that, which is an incredible thing. And that gives me so much hope, comfort, peace, just in everything that I do. So I can go to work, more content, I think, with my life.
Thank you. That's so helpful, and so amazing to hear. And watching a little bit of that journey over the last few years, it's great to see where you are at now. Just before we finish, we've got folk watching who will be church folk and folk who maybe won't be used to going to church or wouldn't call themselves a Christian. What would you say to people who are just kind of exploring the Christian faith themselves?
I say keep exploring. keep looking. So find a Christian friend. I'm sure there'll be someone in your life. Find a Christian somewhere, and just ask them the questions. Ask them the awkward ones that you won't want to ask them. Find out about what makes their life different to yours. What difference does their faith make? And why do they believe it? Why do they think it's true and not just a fairy tale? And then why don't you have a look at some of that with them? When lockdown's over, why didn't you pop along to their church? They might call it their family. Church has a big part in a Christian's life. Why don't you just go and have a look? Nothing weird's going to happen there, but just see what it's like. You could open up the Bible with that person, and just see. It doesn't have to be this massive epic story that you have to look at the whole thing. You can just look at a snippet and just see what Jesus's life was like for yourself. And I think try and come to it without the childhood stories that you have in your mind of dudes in the clouds and big beards and all of that. Try and wipe that from your memory, and start afresh with the claim of Christianity, which is that God sent himself in the form of Jesus to take away every barrier between you and God so that you can have a relationship with him. That is the basis of Christianity, and everyone's faith is built on that. So yeah, have a look for yourself. Just keep investigating. See what you think. Is that claim true or is it false?
Karen, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for joining us today. If you're watching and you want to know more, then you can check out our website, hopechurchwigston.co.uk, or you can find us on social media or on YouTube and find out more. Well, that's all we've got time for today. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.